Late is the way to be. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to a live stream about the one and only Great Lakes Gauntlet. How's it going, Jeff?
Going good.
I just saw you 12 hours ago-ish. Eight hours? No, more than that. It was between 10 and 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yep. We just got back from, well, didn't just get back, but we went to Walter RC Park to check it out after the storm, and those guys are on top of it. Such hard workers, the Walter family.
Oh, yeah. It's like, they not only do they have the farm, which they're doing all the stuff, and they're really not in the farming. The other farmers use the property, but
they got to make sure the property's kept up. And
yeah. Well, and then last week, what happened Thursday night? They got drilled.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're making sure we're checking in after the storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got pretty close to being drilled.
You were with
We were there for it. We were there for it. I saw the Walter RC sign out front. I'm like, hey, that looks like the sign that went flying through the Reaction RC parking lot on Thursday night.
Yep, same kind.
Same kind. His is in better condition than that one is now.
Yeah, the big marquee boards. That's like marquee from back in the day.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so we'll try and keep it somewhat short. We'll get right to the information, at least here at the beginning for you guys, so you know if you're here because you want to know details. Let's just hammer those out for people. We'll take questions as well, or if you have questions about topics that we are talking about, we'll address them right as they're being asked. If it's something we're going to talk about, we'll probably say, hey, we'll talk. We do plan to talk about that, and then we'll wait to address those as they happen, because there's a lot to talk about, things because of how big it was last year.
Yeah.
There's some things that you've definitely been working on to keep it moving forward well. So Endo's RC, I prefer on the trailing arm for racing. If you want to look cool, put it on the axle, but better performance on the trailing arm. So where do you want to start? Let's talk about arrival. What time? There's Dave Walter. Hopefully he was in here for all the niceties we said about all of them. If not, then you rewind it about 3 minutes, and then I think it'll start there.
We'll say more nice things.
Yeah, then we'll say, I'm sure there'll be a lot. Why don't you talk about the arrival process for people? Like, start right there. What should they do? They're coming in on the 21st. When can they arrive?
No, Friday.
No,
Friday.
22nd. Sorry, today's the 1st. It's 3 weeks exactly from today. Yeah. So 22nd, 23rd. Yep.
And so Friday we're opening up the gates earlier than previous years. It wouldn't it open at noon. And we're anticipating obviously at least last year's crowd. So to make things a little more, streamlined, we're opening at 10 a.m. And basically it's first come, first served. If you want to,
and we don't want people coming early.
No,
we don't want you to show up early because volunteers are doing other things and not able to help point people where to go and all of that, because there's a lot of volunteers that run this, and we're going to be working that morning hard to get the last signs up and different things up. And it really throws a wrench in if people are in asking questions, trying to find, okay, they parked, they're setting up.
Yeah.
Where do I go for this? It's like, don't come till 10 and we'll have people ready to help with that.
Right. Yeah. Because once the floodgates open, then it's,
it gets crazy. Yep.
Well, everybody's just anxious. So,
yep.
10 a.m. And, if you want to be by your buddies, you better arrive with your buddies.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of that, so I did, when we talked to Dave Walter today, he did, last year they did do kind of split. And somebody had brought up the question about camping in tents away from generators. And so last year they did that kind of, where basically once you pull in and you go through the line, they were sending the guys in tents to the left side of the field.
Yeah. Back behind the registration building part section. Yep. Which we could pull up a map actually right? The parking map that's on the website. I can work on pulling that up.
Yeah, I think I posted. Yeah, because I posted.
It definitely was posted because there's a lot of questions about parking because it all looked like camping, but a lot of the parking mixes in with that area over there.
Yeah,
behind that.
The drawing was a little. It was basically showing all the available space. It wasn't saying, this is where campers and everybody just mixes.
Right. So typically, I'll get this pulled up, but typically they're going to try and do most of the trailers and RVs and all of that in that one first block toward closer to the road.
Correct.
And then parking and tent and that kind of stuff, or people that are day tents with that will be off to when you come in, you'll go around all of it and then it'll break off to the left of where the camping is. But we'll pull that up so you can see it here. I'm trying to get to the page. It'll make more sense.
There'll still be just one line, like whether you have a trailer or not, and then
they'll split you.
That way, everybody's still following the same path. There's no confusion. There's not two lines or anything. No,
because they'll funnel you in. Like there's the entrance, and everyone will break off to the right before the barn, right after the oval track. Basically, drive right through the registration and where the vendor row is, right?
Yeah,
and then go in. It'll split off there, and then they'll direct you into the trailers on the right or the parking on the left, but it'll be off the same chute. So I'm getting it up right here. Great. I just saw it was in one of my searches. Actually, there's your header picture is a pretty good show for it as well. So let's do that.
Oh yeah.
You can see pretty clearly where stuff is on this page. Like when you're coming in right now where this camper is, there's a little fence here and there's an orange fence up here. That section is going to be the 24 scale now. There'll be two trailers in this area right here is where David pointed. So
no, right there where the RV is.
That's what I'm circling with my mouse.
Yep. Yeah, right there.
There's an orange fence here and then this fence. So this kind of area here.
Yep.
And Tiny Town will be back in here.
Yep. And Show and Shine.
And those will be on the inside of that little fence, I'm guessing. Yeah. Yep. He'll have a big tent set up there for that stuff to be under. But you can see there are a lot of tents and there's a lot of that. So if you want to, if your buddies are there or you're pitching a tent next to their campers or whatever, all of that will be there. And then as you come up and you pass the little runway that's there, get my mouse to go big. Oh, you guys it doesn't do it for you. But there's a flight field runway there, which we don't walk on or drive on or do that kind of stuff. It is fabric. It is not. It looks like asphalt when you see it in person, but it is not. It's not to drive cars and stuff on. But you go up to that and you make a left where that tent is, and there's a whole bunch of parking and camp area back in that area as well. So it's a really, really big parking lot. Hey, there we were live.
Watching ourselves.
There's shirts. There's a lot of stuff actually that we don't have on our list of things to talk about. That now that I'm scrolling through this, we should talk about. And why don't you talk about things that are available? T-shirts, hoodies, that kind of thing that people can buy at on location.
I have the one shirt. I survived the Great Lakes Gauntlet logo on the front, sponsors on the back. We can hit up the list of sponsors. Our title sponsor this year, NSDRC. And then I think there's 28 or 29 other sponsors. Yep, there's the image. But yeah, I'll have that shirt. And then I'll have some hoodies. Most of the stuff will be limited quantities just because, kind of based on what I did last year. I'll have both hats again. I'll have the fitted black hats and then also the red and black trucker hats.
Okay.
And of course, Reaction RC merch.
Yeah, you'll have your stuff there too. This is a good look at the camping areas or just sections for parking. The red are the roads, and then the white is kind of areas for either parking or campers or tents. But when you come in off of Morrison Lake Road, you'll make a right in, and it's very obvious where to turn in because you can see that it's kind of a beaten down path entrance. and then they'll direct you straight through. Because on the right side of that road, there will be vendor tents. Correct? There were last year.
Where at?
On the right side of this little road that goes through, there's vendor tents there, and on the food trucks were on the left of the road.
Yep, exactly. So.
And then there was a big set right in front of the. It doesn't really show here the building where the green is in this middle. There's a building in there, and then there was more registration and all that was kind of there. So registration is kind of right in the middle of the picture, actually, of all of this. So kind of where I'm circling my mouse, if you can see, in that kind of area where there's a couple cars parked in that, in the middle, somewhere in that general area. I guess that's the building. It just looks really small in this picture. So yeah, but there'll be tent camping over here. So if you don't want to be by generators and that kind of stuff, I'm guessing that there's going to be a only quiet generator thing or a shut off after a certain time, kind of a thing. But
they could bring plywood to deflect the sound, and but yeah, I mean, obviously be a little. I mean, if you got a loud one, I mean, man, make sure you park like where like away from the tent, the main tent area. But yeah. So yeah, that's the main thing. That car parking and all that'll mix in on this left-hand side of the red road that goes down the middle. All the parking, day tents, all of that will be on the left. And it may look small in this picture, but it's a huge area. Lots and lots and lots of cars are going to be able to park there. So yeah, not really a huge issue. Can you hear me okay? I can hear you fine. Okay. I don't know how loud I am, so I'm trying to back away from my microphone so that if I'm loud and people are turning down because of me, it might make yours hard to hear. But I can hear you fine out on my computer. Okay. So I just think there's just you, Dave. And my microphone's so boomy, especially if I'm up too close to it. So I'll sit back. Yeah. So, yeah. So that was one of the things. People have been asking me about 24 scale classes. Yep. Yeah, we went out there today specifically for that. Yep, we checked out. They built a trailer. It's fantastic. So it kind of is like what Rick had last year with 124 mop, that he brought his out. He's actually in the chat. I saw him pop in. Oh, okay. Oh, there he is, 124 mop. Yep. So our plan is this year is to do 2 different tables, basically. And so there'll be 2 different size gates. One will be for the 24 scales, SCX 24. Basically, it'll be brush class and brushless class. It doesn't matter if you have aftermarket chassis. Doesn't matter if you have big wheels, small wheels, just not bigger than 65 millimeter. None of the, I mean, if you're doing that, they're massive. They don't even look right on it. So basically what we're trying to do is keep them somewhat small. Scramblers and those are still massive. There's a lot of LGRP ones that are still massive and are still smaller than the 65, 67 millimeter. Yeah. I know those Injora pin tires that came out one time, those things are super massive. Yeah, and we're not trying to be that big or bigger than that are going crazy. So 1.0 wheels, but there's not I mean, you can widen them, but the problem is you can have whatever weight you want with them, caged body or actual body. Yeah. That stuff doesn't really matter to us. But brushless, that just keeps it easy. And I think for the start, we're going to go with 1 per class. Each person can bring 1 for each class, based until we see how many people show up, I guess. Yeah. So that's just a safe way to do it. So if I want to run a bunch, I can run brushed class, brushless class, and then the 18 scale. There'll be an 18 scale class, which is basically a run what you brung. If you got an FMS, if you've got a TRX 4M, if you've got the new Furatech or Hobby Plus, all of those are 18 scale. The gates will be 7 inches at the smallest for the 18 scale class on their table. And on the other one, they'll be 6 inches at the smallest. And we'll flex them based on how difficult some of them are. If they're really tough, we know to flex a little bit. It's not like everything is 6 inches or 7 inches,
That's just the smallest that they'll be.
Right. I mean, because the trucks will slide sometimes. So.
Yep. Yeah. Or just if it's a really bad leaner and we just know that it's going to have to, but we want you to take that line and it still will be difficult. Like one of them we had last year, I had super wide, but people were still hitting it because of the way that you're going through it, even though it was probably 7.5 inches wide. I just wanted people to take that line and be forced to go that line. And at that point, it was more likely to roll over than anything. So keeping it simple, but we're still doing rules.
You're doing the kids class on that.
The kids are also on the 7-inch gates. So the kids and the 18 scale will be on one trailer. It'll give them a little bit wider gates to work with, which will be nice for them. And so we'll build it based on that. So I think the rules we're still going to do gates. We're still going to count reverses, one per. Oh, we only penalize you one reverse per gate. Once you clear the gate, it resets. So you're not chalking up a bajillion reverses between the gate. But for this, because we don't want to use winches a lot, they're all external. We'll have them there, but the penalties for that will be steeper in order to discourage it a little bit, in order to keep the track moving. And we'll also build it in a way that hopefully you won't need it. It's not maybe just to pull you up something if you get high centered or that kind of thing. We're not looking for like some of the crazy stuff we do with the winching nowadays. So,
yeah, well, and you know, the overall thing is to get as many people through.
Yeah. And fun.
Last year, you guys did practically 50 trucks each day.
Yeah.
And with 2 tables, depending on how many people bring trucks, I mean, man.
Right.
You know.
And there were quite a few. We'll have to talk about what we're doing with widths and things like that. If they're widened versions of SCX24s, I would still say we put them on the SCX24 just because body sizes are smaller and all that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the rules, the rules is the rules. Brushless with 6-inch minimum width gates. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're putting,
wheel wideners on that. Yeah.
Dually tires. That's not,
Right. Because the bodies are still going to be smaller and and an advantage on the other course. So, yeah, I think we'll keep it to those like the Hobby Plus, FMS, Furatech, TRX, 4M, Traxxas. And that's kind of what we're looking at for that table. Or based on those axles, if you get something like the Cayman Pro by Furatech, that's basically an FCX24 axle based truck. So we'd go based on their axles. But if you take SCX24 axles and you widen them, we're still keeping in the SCX24 class. So, so I think that's it for 24 scale. Really not a lot of rules. Again, we're penalized for picking up, like if Hand of Gods will be a penalty. I think they're 5 points for that.
So just
points
so
for
people
gates.
know, Hand of God is when your truck is upside down and like you're basically turtled, and you have to touch the truck.
Yep, and there'll be a time limit of like 5 minutes to get through it. We stop you at 5 minutes because if you're going longer than 5 minutes, we're holding the line up big time. So the goal is probably to make the course so people can do it if they're going slow and really, trying not to hit gates and doing it well, because it's not, your time isn't your first score that you're worried about. You want to get the lowest score. But if people have a tie score, then the winner of the person with the fastest time will win.
What was the time limit last year? Do you remember?
I think it was 4 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 4 or 6. Maybe it was 6. I can look. I think we had it on our sheet. It was about the same. But people were getting through it mostly in about 3 minutes, it's a good amount of time to be on it. So I think if we can have people running a good 3 to 4 minute, we'll be doing good.
Yeah, and they're not going to be like super tricky gates. I mean, there's going to be some trickiness, but not like
the goal isn't speed. Like the goal is still about like doing competent and getting through the gates without hitting it. So, we definitely want low scores to be what we're shooting for first. And then at that point we'll use, technically we could do whoever has the least gates if it's that way, but I just prefer to do time at that point. Like who who skillfully got through with that same score at a faster amount of time. So that's the only way we're going to use the timing. The timing is more of a to keep you to 5 minutes or 6 minutes, whatever we decide. We'll tell you that day, but it'll basically be a 5 or 6 minute time limit.
Yep.
And that'll be based on, we'll set the gates, we'll run it, see what people should be able to do it in. And if it's like 3.5 minute course at a good charge, because of some of the difficulty, then we'd say probably 6 minutes. But
right.
Yeah, I think we'll try and get it in 5. So that's just for what we're doing, but it's not, the time isn't the main thing. It's not like what we were doing with the other series this summer, which was like the carnival style, where it's all about speed.
Right.
and adding up points, or even what the gauntlet is, right? Where you're adding up time based on,
you
start with your time and then you add penalties for hitting gates.
Right. Everything but the old man class.
Yep. So we're just going to go more your style, what you do on Thursday nights, but we're just basically doing the time as a tiebreaker and as a, oops, sorry, we need to, we need to move on. So, yeah. So that's a good question. 124 mop. Rick. Camping split in the field. We took about people mover cut off.
Oh, yes.
There's a cutoff for people mover.
So the Walters have, these 2 people haulers, they bought them from the local county fair or something in Ionia. And I mean, you can fit at least 20 people, I think, on each one.
Yeah.
And,
before we move on, hold on 1 second. Kyle Chamberlain asked about 24 scale. Did you say 24 has got to be 20 on 24 axles? Endura +4 are still basically based on the SCX 24. So that'd still be under that class.
Oh yeah.
So the only problem with that is the gates may be tighter for you with widened axles. That's why I was making that. Definitely don't want to have deep dish like pushing out your wheels as well, because the gates are based off of what would be a stock axle width.
Jason Moore, yes. We just went over the 24 scale stuff.
24 scale rules are brush class, brushless class. Those are the 2 classes.
For
tires,
24th.
Tires can't be over 65 millimeters tall, or whatever the Endura, not the Endura, the LGRP, like the big Swamp Kings or whatever that is, 65, 67. We don't want those like super big pin tire Endura ones. Those are just, they don't even look right on them. They're so massive. So that's basically it. Brushed and brushless classes, 6-inch gates at the smallest. So you may encounter a 6-inch gate. Probably they're going to flex to 6.5 for a lot of them because of difficulty, and rocks at the most probably 7, but anywhere in that 6 to 7. The 18th scale, so there will be a separate 18th scale course for the FCX 24, which we consider to be 18th scale, and the TRX 4M and the Hobby Plus or the Furatech size. There's no rules on brush or brushless. It's just 18 scale class. It'll be on a separate trailer, and those gates will be anywhere from 7 to 8 inches wide. 7 being the narrowest of the width. So there's no 4-steer class for this particular event. We'll just have too many classes. 12 and under is also running on that 7 to 8 inch gate course. So it'll be 2 courses. So yeah. Anyway, continue on. The people mover.
Yeah. So they have the people mover. You can fit at least 20 people on each of those carts. Yep. So these, so Friday they'll probably, because Friday there's really nothing going on in the back at the woods except Purgatory, but that doesn't start till 7 p.m. So, and it's supposed to finish up around 10 p.m. Now, so they'll probably start, the people mover around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Start moving people out.
Yeah, and now the people mover, pretty much the last trip forward is going to be 10:30 p.m. Like, because it's supposed to wrap up around 10. So, just plan ahead on getting up front, because you can hang out, but there's, really, because we'll be doing the night crawl up front. So you want to, get done and head to the front. So that's going to be a pretty firm cutoff because, you know, the Walters, I mean, they bust their butts, you know, preparing the property, letting us use the property. You know, I'm not going to ask them to stay up till all crazy hours for, you know, and like I said, Purgatory is supposed to end around 10. You can't go into the woods anyways. You know, get back up, have fun. And now we are allowing people to park out by the woods this year, but so if you go towards the woods and turn right, there's some parking there, but we can probably only fit 30 or 40 cars.
Yeah, it's pretty limited.
So, you know, that's why people with golf carts and side-by-sides, those are great. Bring them.
Yeah. And if you see somebody walking off from a ride, if you got a seat.
Yeah. And then the people mover will fire back up Saturday morning, you know, because I'm looking to probably start, some of the timed guys, you know, start those guys as early possibly as 9 a.m. So they'll be running the people mover all day. And once again, Saturday night, you know, we do a night crawl out in the woods. But once again, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, after them running the thing for 12 hours or more, you know, there's got to be a cutoff as well. And like I said, you know, we're allowing people to drive back. If you guys have a pickup truck, put a bunch of people in the bed. You know, you can only drive like 3 miles an hour anyway. So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, if you plan to stay late out in the woods Saturday night, you better figure out a way. You know,
yeah,
walk it or whatever.
It's not that long of a walk. Having walked at Axial Fest and other places, even at USTE, everything's a walk to get to the trails. So it's not a problem that is only at the Gauntlet. It just, if you want to have a big area usually that's near it, you usually have to be away from where the woods are to the trails. So yeah, it's not unique. It's not a unique problem. And it's totally walkable. So
yeah, well, and
I had to do it for the night crawl at Axial Fest because, well, everybody did. Everybody walked it out to the quarry like at night. So, but yeah, you want to get back anyway. So ending at 10 is cool because the carnival is so much fun at night. It's not called the carnival, but it should be because of all the lights. That was so cool. The night run on the front courses last year.
Oh yeah,
was so cool. People were out till.
We need to get a lot more video.
So late they were out at it. So I have lots of video of that. Yeah, in my video I have the carnival stuff.
Oh yeah.
From it.
Yeah, I'm saying like somehow, you know, because I want to make a video montage, you know, for the Gauntlet page and stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, it's shaping up to be really good. I mean, we've got new sponsors on board this year, you know, or I could run down the list. I mean,
Dave Axial.
Yeah, Axial came on board first time ever. You know, that's been great. You know, we've been working on that, you know, and the event's gotten bigger and it's gotten a lot more attention, you know, so, you know, people are taking notice. I mean, you know, the organizer of USTE is flying up from Florida. I mean, you know, it's, you know, we got Ryan coming from Spare Time Hobbies, you know, Helios RC, Bauhaus, and all those, you know, and
RC Addict.
Yep, RC Addict. Yeah, he's running those 3 sponsoring. I have all the sponsors somewhere.
Crawler Canyon.
Oh yeah.
You just got some awesome fire pits donated today.
Yeah, those
Mankin, GCM, Boom Racing. I mean, you can see a bunch of them scrolling through the list here.
Yeah, I have a post with all of them. There it is.
J Concepts, TSM Off Road.
So
Family.
Crooked RC, Rock Titan RC, J Concepts, DSM, Family RC, Scalar Fab, Corrupt Carbon Works, Backyard Crawler Addicts, NSDRC, our title sponsor, Flub RC, FMS, me, you, ACP RC, 1/10 Scale RC, Beef Tubes, who sponsors Purgatory, and Dan Davidson is supposed to be coming. He posted that he booked a hotel. I believe it's his first trip to the Gauntlet. Reefs RC, Asia Tees, which is also Boom Racing, and they did give us a coupon code that we posted on the Facebook page to get, I think, 15% off Boom Racing's website up until the event. So
okay.
So yeah,
so you need to be using that now.
Performance RC Hobby and Park, K&K, GCM, and he'll be on site. Blue Water Maintenance, that's the sponsor that has helped us the last 2 or 3 years, who has nothing to do with RC, but he saw what we were doing for the kids class and giving away the minis. So he contributes to help for that.
Nice.
And actually they were there. I think they've been there the last couple years. Easy Vein, which we talked about, those fire pits, Crawler Canyon, Boca Bearing, RC Addict, Bauhaus, Helios, Nankin, Axial, Showtime RC. I mean, that's everybody.
Yeah. These just got dropped off today. The fire pits, the Gauntlet logo, Reaction, and Lawn Dart.
And those now 4 of those are in the raffle for prizes.
Nice.
And then they also made them, and Easy Vein will be on site, and they'll be selling. Their main line of business is actually weather vanes. That's why it's Easy Vein. So they make weather vanes for barns and houses and whatever. And they have this huge selection. I mean, they have this whole catalog, and they're reasonably priced too. And but yeah, so they're looking to expand and offer some other things, since they have all the laser cutting and all the technology.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, I was approached.
Super cool idea.
Yeah. So I was approached, by a crawler guy who works there, and he said, "Hey, we want to do this, and we can do the logos and make these custom, so they'll be on site, and not very many. I think they're only bringing like 18 of them. $100 though. That's a pretty dang good price. And they also donated Michigan keychains that were laser cut out. Everybody will get one in their bag, their little registration bag. So,
all right, let's talk show and shine real quick, because I just saw a question about it.
Yep.
It is Saturday.
Yes.
Morning.
Yeah, you can set the trucks up Saturday morning. It kind of goes, throughout the day then.
And the way that it works is everybody has tickets when they show up for the event, right? They have them in their packet.
No, not for the show and shine. For the show and shine, you can just go there. We'll have them printed out, the voting sheets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you write the number, because you and I discussed about the thing about like if your son went and got 10.
Yeah, so you smartened up on it. Yeah, you smartened up on it. So yeah, you'll only be able to you'll have a sheet, and you'll get to write them on there. Yeah, that way you can't take a whole stack of tickets and put them in one.
Exactly. So then we'll cut them up. I have voter boxes all set, and everything. But yeah, you would just go to the show and shine area. It'll be there. So
it's judged by the people.
Yes, all the attendees make the decisions.
Yep.
So there's 5 different classes, and you actually won best 124th last year. So you can just retire and not enter again.
I won't. I will retire. Yes, I will retire. I'm not a showy guy.
There's some guys with some serious builds.
Yeah. And weathering and patina and really cool stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Some of it was custom made. So that's good for that. It'll be under a tent, so your stuff will be covered and protected.
Yes.
Yeah. So that helps with knowing how that works, because I didn't even know what was going on last time until somebody told us, and we ran our truck over there.
Right.
We brought it weren't sure.
That was one of the things that was kind of last minute, and but hey, this year
it's
ready. It's all
yep.
good.
Yep. It's all, and people know now. People ask. Somebody's asking Jason Moore, is there a way to support Walters Park directly? And they do have donation boxes there at the park.
Yes.
But I'm sure if you reach out to them, there's other ways you can as well. So that would be super cool for people that want to do that.
You can go to Walters RC basically 7 days a week, I wouldn't say 365 days a year, but I mean, you could go. I mean, but yeah, basically you go there and you sign in, and it's a minimum of a $5 fee, and it's all right there, and you can use the property. I'm sure some people put more. So,
Yeah.
And of course they'll be on site, and if you wanted to talk with Dave or Jeff, directly, I'm sure I can point them out, or any of us can.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, they put in a ton of work for it, and they've got a lot of work that they're trying to get done now after the storm. He thinks he was guessing probably 200 trees in the woods, some blocking the trails, some over the trails that they got to cut and clear, and there's a lot to do.
Custom aluminum trailer. I think there's a best fab class, and I mean,
there's best metal fab.
Most people put rigs in, so I mean,
best custom fab. So if it's a custom build,
right?
Best weathering and best 1/24th rig. So best paint job, best weathering, best 124 metal fab custom. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So best metal fab. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I've seen builds that weren't really trucks. Like I remember a few years ago, some guys had some like kind of rat rod, style, like long frame rail drags. They were cool.
Just their RCs, right? Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say crawler. Like there's not a designation on that. Camping, split in the field. We talked about that. Group photo at awards. We want to do a group photo.
Yeah.
Yes.
So every year, so they always try to do a group photo, and in years past they've tried to do it Saturday morning before the gauntlet starts. Well, there's a lot going on that morning, and most everybody is still hanging around, to come sit down at the awards. Bring your trucks, and then we'll do a group photo with all the rigs there. Because I feel like even the group photo that we did last year, I mean, I saw the number of trucks, and I'm like, there's way more trucks that aren't here.
Right.
Because some guys, especially if they're local or whatever, they drive in, they're not in a hurry. They're there to have fun, and, so they might not get there till 11 o'clock. So,
right.
But they'll hang around for prizes and the award, the trophies presentation and stuff. So, yeah, we'd like to try and get a big group photo, with all the rigs. So,
yep. Quickly, the rules are posted as well to the Gauntlet page, which is linked in this description. Yes. The 1.9, 1.7, 1.55 Mighty Truck class. Those are listed. The 1.9 Trail class, and then the women's class is that set. And then you've got the 2.2 Extreme class.
Yep.
Seasoned drivers class, 50 plus.
Yep.
Now,
one thing about that class, and I think maybe the women's class, but I know the season plus, or the season 50 plus, there's no time associated with that. It's literally just hitting gates, and that's it. Because seasoned guys might be a little slower. So, but yeah, no, I mean, all the other ones I believe are the normal time with time penalties, for hitting gates. So, literally, like the top 6 guys last year in season class, first place was 1 gate, second 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's literally how the top 6 went.
Yep. And pretty much all of the classes you should have a tow strap or a winch installed. It says must have, because you're going to need it. They don't want any hand to God, no flipping your trucks over by your hand. Everything has to be in a scale manner, either pulling out a winch and doing it.
Correct.
Or a recovery strap that you're able to wrap around and help recover your vehicle, or attach to a friend who will pull you over, or they'll hook up to your links and back up and pull you over, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And also keep in mind, I mean, it's not all about the scorecard.
Right.
Like I said, I think in the last live stream, out of 300 to 400 trucks, I think like 110 turned in scorecards, 120. So,
yeah. If you're just out there for trailing, I mean, those rules don't apply. But for people actually comping and turning in a score sheet, all of that applies that you're
Right.
reading there. Yep.
Keep it scale, keep it fun, you know.
Yeah, buddy
Maybe.
system is great, Jason Moore. Yeah. And that's what makes it so much fun. Zach says in a few years I'll be in the 50 plus class. He's not wrong.
I have enough reconstructive surgery that I think I qualify anyway. So
Right. Trophies are in. I just saw that post here.
Yep.
For the winners for the classes.
Yep. I wanted to do something unique because I had the cool, you know, Purgatory trophies and the King of the Rocks, which are the same this year, the Grim Reapers for Purgatory. And then, you know, I was trying to do something unique, you know, and that glove is in the logo for the gauntlet. And I thought,
yeah,
man, these are cool.
Yep.
And they light up.
And they light up. So those will be cool. Those are for the big classes. Lots of giveaway stuff, lots of awards, prizes, things like that you can win while you're there. There's the King of Rocks, which is different than Purgatory.
Yep.
Purgatory also has rules and classes 1.9, 2.2, and some other stuff. It was just on that page we were on, and I already jumped off it.
There's 1.9, and then 2.2 is split between solid axle and independent suspension, like
yeah.
Yep. And then there's open.
Okay, unlimited, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then there's the Purgatory, King of Rocks, is that just run what you brung kind of rock bouncer?
That's full send it, like
yeah.
You know, I built it around.
Now, are they supposed to be solid axle? There was some kind of rule like that? You weren't doing like Maxes or monster trucks or
correct. It still needs to be. It's a crawling event.
Yeah.
You know? So, and so, but you know, riffs, solid axle.
You can bring your crawler out there if you want to. Yeah,
you know, I mean, but
it'll beat it up.
You're gonna need some power because I built it kind of around like a bragging rights thing, kind of. You know, even if you don't win, it's like you can go against your buddies because it's a down and back. And man, This year, man, you saw the pit.
Yeah.
It's much deeper than last.
It's gonna be very muddy this year.
Yeah.
things are gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I saw some videos on YouTube one night last year.
Now the only thing I'll say to that is we got to make sure that trucks can get up it. Not to be a downer on the Axial Fest, but it was so hard that almost nobody was making it, and it just was like, yeah, like you want people to do it. So if like the mud pit's too much, there's got to be some kind of a step up. Like, I get it being a detriment to like, but I feel like if everybody can't make it out of the mud pit, it's a total like waste of time event.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it a little bit today. And from what I was viewing, it might need a little adjusting.
It's pretty steep,
especially
and once the tires are wet.
Especially after the tornado came through. And
and filled it, washed it down.
Yeah, so much clay, and I was like, okay, we might still, because even if we put kind of like Purgatory, even if we put big rocks, like you can still bounce up.
Yeah. And Purgatory is still good because a lot of people make it or don't, but it's crazy in the way that it's set up in general. There's one where it's just like nobody could make this one hill. It's just like there's like 4 cars out of 70 or 50 or whatever that could actually do it. It was like, so it's like up and we'll watch it. And I just stopped filming because I knew everybody that did it was just going to fall down this hill and not make it up. And it was like, and everybody could do that. That was easy. Like there wasn't like a race in it.
Well,
like,
but that's also part of it. That's it's not all unicorns and rainbows, man. Send it.
Yeah, but if everybody stops at the mud pit, I think a lot of people will leave. Because the mud pit's the first hole. I know what you mean. It's basically if you can't make it past the first real hit, then you're not racing.
That's why I was looking at it a little bit, and but yeah. So
I'm just saying that I think it's doable. That was the one takeaway that I had after that one event was like, wow, like if your stock cars can't do it, then like you build something like that doesn't make them shine. in a way. You know what I mean? Like thinking for them, like these are your vehicles that are just tanking and not not able to do this course at all. And so it's like,
Well, I mean, it's not designed for stock vehicles. I mean, it's
yeah,
not, because you're trying to go fastest time.
yeah.
That's like, these guys
But
bring the
I mean,
higher
you watch a
speed.
lot of the rock bouncer stuff. So most of them make the hill. They
Right.
make it at different times.
Right.
It's a race, right? You're trying to get to the end.
Absolutely.
And so they make it a decent amount of the course.
Yep.
So that's all I was saying.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. So,
Mosquito?
yeah.
Oh. But yeah, it was awesome last year. I mean, most people were making it. They were getting turned around, bouncing, whatever. I think adding the mud's going to make it even more fun because it's going to just sling. There was water last time, right? But it just not this deep.
but not quite enough. Like apparently Jeff was watering it, and somebody, I don't know who it was, somebody walked over and be like, "Oh, that's enough water." And I'm, and then I go over there later. I'm like, "That's not even close."
Yeah, feel it.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Oh, also Jeff really put a lot of work into it. So we added something kind of for a little bit more technical, but kind of also from a safety point. So, last year you go down, come back, and guys are just sending it, through the finish line, going way off towards the monster jam.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And the crawler course. Yeah. The 24th scale.
Right.
Right at the ankles. Yeah.
So this year there's actually, Jeff put in this huge stone, and you're going to have to go up the stone and stop on the stone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like it. Slick tires and whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, the way I see it is like Ninja Warrior course, right? Not everybody makes it the whole way. You don't have to.
Right.
But you want to see people getting far and
Sure.
getting to, so that was the thing.
Well, and some guys, with their buddies, they're like, kind of like I said, bragging rights. I mean, some of these guys, some of my local guys I know, they step up the KV and put 3S, 4S and just go crazy. And it's like, bring it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely, I mean, it's unique. It's going to, it'll be tricky and difficult. So
Dave Walters called me a wimp. I'm not a wimp. My trucks are rigged up. Like they got power in them. I'm not too worried about it. It was just the one takeaway that I had when we were all watching. Everyone was like,
Well, I mean, yeah. I think they're going to work on. Well, that's why Jason also on Purgatory changed the layout, and I think we might have it a little better lit up this year. So
yeah.
Which will help also. So.
Yeah, well, Purgatory, people will make a lap and then they'll die in something. Like it's doable. Yeah. That's the thing with it. Yeah. And at that point, it just comes down to fastest time because multiple people are finishing, but then you're going for the fastest laps, which is so good. And stuff's just breaking at the same time too, like because it's doable and you're just going all out. Yeah.
Well, like what's his name? Austin. He blew an insert out of his tire and just
yeah. Insane.
I'm not sure if anybody blew up electronics. I wasn't out there very long, so
yeah. I didn't see it. I saw tires blowing, gears getting destroyed, like the diffs getting destroyed. It was, people were merciless. It was awesome.
Another thing about King of the Rocks, last year it was on Saturday, and
right
after last year, I kind of felt like Saturday was a little chaotic.
Too packed. Yeah.
And so King of the Rocks has moved to Friday afternoon now.
Okay.
So that'll be going on the same time window as 124th, but they're not that far apart if you want to do both. And
right. Yeah, it actually works good.
Yeah. And because on Saturday, you've got the actual gauntlet, and then you've got show and shine, you've got just other thing. There'll be another 124th comp, and there's just the big show, so to speak, on Saturday is the actual trails in the woods. So
yeah,
that way people don't feel like they're rushing from the woods to the front, maybe, like, oh crap, I got to get back up there or whatever. So a little bit more lax on Saturday.
yeah.
Mud pit, and I believe there's also a mud pit being set up by the trail out by the woods. So you'll be able to, sling some mud on Saturday.
They are perfect. Can you explain the advantage of starting early on Saturday morning?
Starting early
for the comp, for the gauntlet.
So there's always bottlenecks, and which is inevitable, but starting early is trying to encourage the guys that are going for time to maybe go, beforehand, and then, that way, like if there's a specific area, that might bottleneck, just to get the guys some of the guys are literally sprinting. So, and just, and it doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, if you wanted to go early and you're not comping, the biggest thing is if guys are going for time, let them through. It's no big deal. The gates are wide enough, but we were just trying to separate possibly a little bit, to encourage the guys that are going for time, and some guys try to run 2 trucks.
So basically people that are going for the comp will do the early start time.
Yes.
In order to get through, but people can still do other start times and still go for the comp.
Oh yeah.
They may hit congestion.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's guys that ran 2 classes last year.
So Jason, the thing is the trail wasn't open until a certain time. All it's doing is saying it will allow people to get out earlier to try to help with congestion.
Correct.
Because if it only starts at 10, then that throughout your day is there's just people waiting. Everybody's ready at 10. But if the people that want to comp it want to get up early and get out there and get out on the trail ahead of it, then they can beat some of the congestion.
Right.
And hopefully help with it moving forward.
Yeah. No system is ever perfect. Just trying to, spread it out a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you get in after it's already started, you're going to run into a little congestion. People that are doing it for fun.
Yep.
So just let them know, hey, are you guys comping? No. Hey, can I just squeeze through here?
Right.
Yes.
And the gates are, the gates are wide. So, it's easy, or just pull over and, let them go.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Have fun. And that's what it's all about.
It is only one trail this year. Yes, Jason, you read that right.
Yes.
It's one combined longer trail. Yes.
Yeah. We always make up the trail on Thursday. So Jason Reckner just wings it. And, but yeah, we're doing that. So the scorekeeper, so it's a little easier, just keeping track of everything,
Yeah.
Instead of, and
now,
I plan to do a tent with tables. So I really want a work area out there. So if you bring tools, bring stuff, but that way you don't feel like you have to go up front, like I kind of want to provide some stuff at the trail.
So it may even include some of the other trail that was there, but you're just doing it as one long run. You're not taking a break and then doing a whole nother time and a whole nother score
Correct.
set.
It probably won't be as long as both of last year's combined, trails combined.
You also had some people that took 6 hours.
He set 240 gates last year. So
yeah.
Now, people say, wow, 240 gates. Well, some of those you're just cruising through.
Yeah, they're fast. Yeah. To keep you going in the path. Yeah.
Correct. So where you're going, follow the line. And, and when I say they're wide, I think the narrowest any of the gates is like 15, 17 inches.
They're really wide. But some of the obstacles are still really tough. And even if you don't hit them, you may not get over it without somebody helping you over it.
Right.
Because they're tough, some of them.
Yeah. I mean, because I think all the gates, I'm pretty sure you could fit like 2 trucks through them.
Yeah,
you know.
it was really wide.
Yeah,
but again, it was about slowing you down, and because time. So it's going to slow you down. They're making you go through an area. You may not hit the gate, but it's really just trying to get you over some tough stuff.
Spike tires, Dave Walter. Now you just want to cheat.
Spike tires.
I don't see Jeeps driving down the road with spikes in their tires.
Are there segments to the one trail for breakdowns or poop breaks? That's included in the time. If everybody's got to do it, some people may choose to wear diapers. Think NASCAR, baby. Like,
there are
just go, man. Just go.
There are a couple porta johns out in the woods, so
yeah. Bring some snacks. Not too many.
I mean, absolutely. Have a backpack, have a fanny pack, whatever you want to do. Have an extra battery, have some tools, a wheel nut wrench,
because some people may break in general, and they're stopping to fix it in their timed run. There's not like take a break. It's just whatever slows you down.
Exactly. I mean, I have people that there's people finishing it last year, and they ran a marathon, and they're like
poo included. It'll be encouragement to go quick.
What was I gonna say? Crap.
Last year people last year.
Oh, I think with the with the repairs and stuff. I'll remember it.
Yeah, we'll have battery charging on site for people. Some stuff or no?
I was talking with Dave Walter about trying to get a generator out there. I'd like to have power, because like Adam Hip, who does,
you have to bring your own charger, but there may be power to plug into.
Yeah, well, and I could probably provide a charger, or at least we'll have power with a power strip, because like Adam Hip does my the start tent, and I mean, if he wants a fan, I'd like to give him a fan and power up his laptop maybe or whatever. So so that's I'm always trying to add a little of these helpful things so you don't feel like you have to go run all the way to the front to fix something.
Now, Jason, is this comment poo included as well? Be having too busy having fun pooing to care about the time it takes. Bring the score guy a water for some points. Better be some flavored water. Last things, food. There will be food on site for people to be able to buy.
Oh yes,
Friday and Saturday.
We will have, and I've recently talked to both food trucks.
The burger guy.
So a local Grand Rapids food truck, Bigfoot Burger.
Bigfoot, that was it.
He actually probably in a week or two is going to open a store on Plainfield, half a mile north of my shop. An actual storefront restaurant.
I kept driving by looking for it. So you'd mentioned that he was going to do that last year when you had the little stickers and stuff. So me and the boys kept going looking for this burger place.
Well, you want to know
thanks for that. Wild goose chase.
That's how long he's been dealing with Plainfield Township trying to get.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
if your battery goes dead, have a spare. Dave says, yeah, that's really the best bet is to have a bunch ready to go for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, a 5,000 milliamp battery should get you through
the event.
The
course.
If not 90%, 80%.
Yeah, maybe not all of the night crawl and everything, but it should get you through the trails that day on a 5,000 battery.
Yeah, I mean,
it should get you through the gauntlet
and whatever, burning juice, but yeah. So
your lights are just sucking power, and you don't realize that there's some kind of extra draw from them. I hate lights. I tell you.
And then also, Crystal's barbecue truck will be back as
well. So good! Oh my goodness, her barbecue last year was so good. Yeah, I went there
Yeah.
twice, and I even brought food, and I still went. It was so good the first day. I went back.
Now, okay, so now that we're on the subject of food, real quick, some people were kind of concerned. I won't say whether they were old or young, but they were old. About the number of porta johns and stuff. So we are getting more this year. So there'll be 2 back in the woods, and then we'll have 10 or 11 of them up front. So
nice.
we got your we got your butts covered.
And if you got a backpack, just carry some TP with you just in case.
Yeah.
Don't tell Dave I said that. He's probably not listening anymore anyway. So,
in case you hear something and you're like, whoa, I think I had a little extra there.
Yeah. If you're far enough out in the lead, you may not want to run back to camp. What else? I think that's most of the registration. They come in. The registration opens at what time? The doors or the gates open at 10. When does registration open?
Registration should be pretty much open. I'll be there
around 10. Okay.
Yeah. So
is there going to be signage thing?
Really, realistically, people, kind of come in, get your camp set up, and that's why
Is there a tech inspection for your trucks?
No. Because we don't do scale points, the rules are basically wheel size, age, stuff like, so it's not like, because, last year, we had 400 trucks. I don't want to tech 400 trucks.
This is true. Dave has deli subs and stuff available at the Dutch, the building they've got there. They've got a kitchen in it where you can buy. They got a little donation basket you can put money in. They've got subs in there.
Yeah, he's got mini subs and I think some bottled water as well.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a simple option too.
Yep, I've had them there.
Just for a quick snack, especially. So, and I
think I had one.
What were we talking about?
Registration time.
Oh yeah. So yeah, load in, get your area set up. That's why I wanted to move the start time, the gates open time back, because the 24th comp and King of Rock starts around 2:00. That way there's more time to get registered, and not that we had a crap ton of people doing the King of the Rocks. There was like 40 trucks, but get in, get registered, get settled before, the event, the day starts and whatnot. So
what about vendors? What time do they show up?
I'm telling them to be there at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. too?
Yeah. Some of them are coming Thursday to set up, like RC Addict and Bauhaus.
They're tents. They're big. He's got a big tent set up.
Yeah,
holy cow.
He's rolling big. He's rolling 20 by 60.
Yeah.
And then
bright green
an RV and a trailer.
Yeah, it's bright green. It's amazing. Yeah, so there will be stuff available for people that want and need actual stuff between your store and his store. There's going to be parts available.
Yeah, well,
so people blow up servos. Yep.
I'll have most of my hobby shop. The only thing I really don't bring is like bodies and paint.
Yeah.
And I bring some tires, but
like servos, that kind of stuff. If they burn up.
Tools, electronics, parts. But so I'll have my area set up. Bauhaus, he'll have his 3. Flub RC will be on site. I believe DSM will be on site. There'll be some guys set up with stuff for sale. ACP RC, they did a vendor tent last year. They had some wheels, beadlock wheels, and some other stuff.
Yeah, they did have some good stuff.
Yeah, so this year's shaping up even better for the number of vendors.
Yeah.
FMS, there'll be a rep from FMS on site, hanging out with you guys in that area.
Jason is asking, will there be a curfew on generators? I don't think so.
Maybe if it's an obnoxious one.
If they're loud, if they're not the quiet ones, I would hope that people would be respectful because they're really loud. And even if you're in a camper, I know tents are complaining, but campers are very thin walled as well. So it's just going to reverberate throughout. Dave Walter, this is a good thing. He says only registered armbands will be allowed to drive.
Correct.
And that doesn't just mean the trails. That's everything. That's the 24 scale stuff. That's on their courses for the ovals and the off-road park and the basher area, all of that.
Yep. If you have a controller in your hand, you must have a wristband on. That is for insurance and liability for the property, for Walter RC.
I should say that even just is in the parking lot and everything. Like that's everywhere if you're driving an RC.
Yes.
Right. Because of the liability. If something happens with it, it crashes.
You know, spectators are free. Like if your wife comes and has little kids, you know, obviously, you know, they'll just be hanging out. But yeah, if you're doing something, you know, with an RC vehicle, you must be registered for the event.
Yeah.
You know.
Only can we camp Thursday night?
No,
there's nobody there for that, and there's a lot of people doing setup and last minute prep.
Yeah, there's too much going on our side, the back side. You know, I mean, I'm already shutting down my shop for 3 or 4 days. You know, to go out there and prep it all Thursday night. You know, actually I'll be there all day Thursday. You know, and
Good
you know,
question,
like I
though.
said, some of the vendors will be, you know, setting up tents and stuff, but I mean, that's the organizational side of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not trying to, you know, say anything about people, but it's, you know, it's just, it is what it is, you know, like, you know,
there's not going to be enough other people there to watch over everything and have when you have numbers, it sort of helps in some ways when everybody's there camping. Everybody's kind of got an eye out for stuff and but it's definitely a safety in numbers in some way. But if you only having a couple people here or there's not as much, especially with the stuff that's pre-set out and all that. So it just makes sense to not have it until the event's going, to have people on the grounds.
Right. And once again, the liability, the this, the that, like, I mean, because I mean, I hate to say babysitting, but there's just not, right, like you said, there's not enough people. We're busy doing other stuff. So
yep.
And they'll be, you know, I mean, there'll be a lot of time, you know, the other days. I mean, but
but you can stay Saturday night, right? You can stay Saturday night, so it ends on Saturday, right? Midday-ish, evening. It's getting darkish by the time.
The night crawl.
There's the night crawl,
which you still need to be registered for.
Yeah,
yeah. So Saturday night, the gauntlet officially ends, and then you can stay Saturday night, pack up Sunday morning, and take off. If you want to stick around on Sunday, you will have to register separately at Walters RC, pay their $5, and you can hang out.
Yeah.
So, but the gauntlet officially ends Saturday night.
Yeah. So that payment then is to, again, the liability, all that stuff on their regular.
They have a registration book that you have to sign, and then they if anything happened, then they have the book.
They know who is there. They've got phone numbers, addresses.
Whatever.
Yep. So it goes back to normal day stuff for them on Sunday.
Yes.
But if you made the trip and you're wanting to do the weekend and do it all, I mean, their fee is very minimal for what they offer. So you can get a lot. You can have an awesome weekend, stay and play and head back. So
well, and there's the non-crawler stuff. I think we talked about it early, but you have a dirt oval track, you have a dirt off-road track, you have the Monster Jam area. So there's and you can run on King of the Rocks, and that'll
just be open, right? After the event's been run, it'll be open. Yeah.
After the event, it's open, and the front crawler course is always open. So I mean, there's entertainment for sure.
Yeah. The bring rally cars, guys. Take on the off-road course with some rally for fun.
Yeah, that looks sweet.
I took the Sen rally car up there today when we went up to check it out. It was so awesome. It was so much fun. So I think that's everything, guys. Try and keep it to an hour so people watching the playback will know that that's about what it is. Is there anything else, Jeff, last minute that you need from people they should do or think about when they're coming?
It is a rain or shine event. So, I mean, if it rains, you be prepared. Mother Nature always gets in the way. I mean, what was it last year or the year before Axial Fest? Oh my gosh, it was like a deluge.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, that's when we were moving. Also, registration is open the day of the event. So I saw that comment in there. Some people pre-register. They love it if you pre-register. It helps keep the numbers and know about how many people are coming. Make sure everything's set and prepped for the amount of people that'll be there. Always helpful. They are watching the numbers of people that are saying they're coming on Facebook or might be coming, that kind of stuff too, to try to guesstimate how many. There's algorithms and stuff you can play with that of how many based on that to guess might actually come. But
this is the biggest response.
Big response.
To the event on Facebook. Over 650 responses.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that don't even respond to that online.
I don't think I have.
Now, granted, last year we had 600 responses. So I mean, just because we hit like a huge number, it's that it's not guaranteed. It's people, but you can base off like, okay, I mean, it looks like it could be bigger. I mean, last year, just between the events, like I didn't even count monster trucks and all these other fun trucks. Just the events we held for the Gauntlet, there were 600 trucks. And then people that had the trucks on Dirt Oval and the Monster Jam trucks. I'm thinking 650. Last year it was a busy place. And then like
654 people have now responded, by the way.
What?
654 people have now responded.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
It's about time.
Here's the event page if people are wanting to go check it out. Whoops, I didn't do it to all of the destinations. So what you're saying, sorry, I cut you off. You said you were...
Oh, I was talking about how much just the whole atmosphere changed last year by camping up front and, and people with their golf carts and side-by-sides and camping. And
it was so much fun.
The guys next door camping to you and just, man, it was, it's a great weekend. I mean, I think it's a little bit different setup. I haven't been to other events, so I can only really judge by this one, but that
changed the whole atmosphere of the event. I've been to other events, and having RC stuff to do at camp was super cool. Like when everybody comes back, usually we're just driving around on flat ground or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Like even at Axial Fest, there's not really a whole lot of crawling right up there unless you go to some of the outer edges. But like to have it like right there, that playground, like Jason was saying, is like I was kind of late to the morning because I stayed up so late playing the night before, right?
Yeah.
Which so many of us did. I think we went to bed at like 2.
Oh yeah, there was
like it was dumb.
Course at 2.
Yeah.
The front crawler course.
Yeah. So super fun.
Man, Dirk's just rolling in. You're a little late to the party, buddy.
I know. He needs to fly out for this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Book a flight.
3 weeks from now for the weekend.
And should be a good time.
Yep. Oh, I need to get a new feather thing. I left my feather support, the part that you hammer into the ground for the feathers. I left it at Axial Fest. Shoot.
Do you need the pole and the feather?
No, just the bottom part, the metal part that hammers into the ground that it spins on.
Oh, okay.
I have the whole pole and the feather. I just don't have the ground part of it. I can probably order one.
Yeah, I don't have those. Yeah, they're easy to get though. So, yeah. Oh, one last thing that we didn't really touch on is Tiny Town. Some people don't know what that is. Tiny Town, like one aspect of it is all the scale buildings that people make, you know, a scale house, a cottage. I mean, I have a women's bathhouse. I have a tree house. I have, you know, all these things. And we encourage people to bring their scale houses or whatever they build. And we build this tiny town. And, you know, we're trying to make it more front and center. And, you know, I bought some like miniature white picket fences. I bought a train set to like run a train through tiny town. But, you know, it's just, you know, all along the scale. I mean, there's no awards, there's no nothing, but it's a great photo op. You know,
yeah. Park your truck.
You know, you can drive through it with your truck, park next to, you know, these things. You know, some of these guys have 3D printed miniature mini-me's of themselves sitting on benches, eating food, and like miniature canopies. I mean, it's cool. So
yeah,
it's a great photo opportunity. So
awesome. Yep. So everybody, 10 a.m. Friday, we'll see you start pulling in. It's going to be awesome. I'm super looking forward to it. Being up there again, just running on the course. And I know that the storm did some damage, but they've been getting after it already. And man, it's going to be awesome hanging out with everybody for the weekend. And
sure.
I'm not planning to sleep much. I'm trying to decide how we're going to do it this year. If we're going to bring the camper again, or if we're just going to tent camp it. We got a nice tent that we used at Horizon RC Fest and at Axial Fest, and so I'm trying to make the decision. But I guess I'll look at the weather.
people with campers, if you need water, there is access to fill tanks or whatever.
Yep.
I know one guy messaged me about that, you know, to lighten the load driving over. And I said, yes, there's water access. So.
Yep. Mother Nature added more fun features.
Oh, yes.
That says, yeah.
I mean, Dave Walter was saying potentially 200 trees ripped down. Like,
yeah, or topped. Yeah.
Yeah, topped. So, yeah, rip the tops off. And
it's gonna be insane. Well, let's wrap it up, Jeff.
All right.
I gotta get to some editing from our video footage that I picked up today from there. So you'll be able to see the 18 scale course, part of it, in a little video.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was cool. I mean,
he did a good job building it.
Yeah. Jeff Walter did a great job. There's some cool lines, you know, that we saw, and some unique.
And we found some more after you left. He showed me one. Stuff. He showed me one of the lines that he built in. I was like, oh, that's mean, but I like it. Maybe on Saturday we'll pull that line out of our hat. But it was stock trucks doing it, so it was good. Like the Harvest is what I was driving, which is bone stock.
Yeah.
Hobby Plus. So it's about the capability of a TRX 4M.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was working.
And it was working it. So, and he tested it with his rock van to make sure stuff would fit in SCX 24. So it's good for both. So it'll work for the kids and for the one. If there's anything that the kids ones don't fit on, we'll just do a different color gate.
Yeah.
For ones that are only for that 18 scale. So like it may be the whole course, but then there might be like an orange one, and the orange ones will only be for the 18 scale, and the kids just miss that one, you know, and stay on the path of the ones that are all in green or whatever. So we'll have something like that. We did that before an event. It worked great, where the stock trucks didn't do a certain line, but the developed trucks had to do it. And so we just used different colors to designate it.
Right.
And we try to build them at the end or the beginning. So like they end at the end of the green, but then it's like, all right, now here's a couple more hard ones for the other class. So,
yeah.
All right.
This is looking to be well attended from across the country. Like Stockish RC, he's coming from London, Ontario. I know people coming from Florida, from Iowa, from, you know, Texas.
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. Because that's where Ryan's coming from.
Yeah. Massachusetts, Maryland. You know, yeah. I mean, it's you know, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Nice. All right. We'll see you guys. Jeff, thanks.
Yeah,
for
no
doing this
problem.
and all the hard work you put into it. And same with the Walters. Thank you guys for just putting hours and well, just even for the community here on the regular for having the park for us. So
oh yeah,
thank you guys.
you know, we couldn't do it without the Walters and you know the Walter RC Park. I mean, you know, they're nice enough to let us use the you know their property and you know and keep that in mind when you're there. You know, and you know this is private property. You know, this is very special. You know, we feel. You know,
I can't even imagine what his neighbors think when we all roll in and start camping out like that. It's nuts. But
well, hey, and if you see Jeff and Dave, I mean, thank them. I mean, because you know, I mean, even just building the park, you know, for their, you know, themselves with all that front course and everything. I mean, that's a lot of man hours and material, and I mean, it you know,
mowing it, maintaining it, it's not a small feat.
No. And then you have a tornado roll through a week ago.
Yeah, hopefully those will stay away until after. Well, just forever, but yeah. All right, guys, have a great night.
All right, see you in 3 weeks.
See ya.